And I didn't know, part of the bylaws, does it go to the secretary or does it go to you, Carlos?
And the bylaws, it doesn't state. I looked it
I
up.
didn't think it did, yeah.
And I
Because we have to decide what to do.
Yeah.
And I looked in the MBLC as well, it's not there yet.
thought it said,
It's a good thing to add, though.
It is, you know, you always come across, yeah.
I thought it did.
Yeah, I looked and I went, oh, it's probably, no, it's not.
Yeah, it's not there.
It's something that would have to be voted on, so we can
It
put it
must
on the
Be,
next meeting agenda.
yeah, so, do you want to do that?
So,
So put on the agenda for
okay,
next.
for next meeting.
Amendment to the bylaws?
And election of
An election
chair,
of,
vice chair.
yeah.
That's the whole. So the first item was
The evaluation form.
evaluation form. So everybody got a copy of the form?
Yep.
I think-
I don't, but I'll make a
Jen,
copy.
Yeah,
I'll make a
the
copy.
latest one, 8/2/15.
It was emailed to everyone, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
and I wasn't able to print it out, and I don't know
Okay.
why,
Okay.
but I will get a copy of it.
So look, is there questions?
Well, one of the things that I had emailed Jen was that it's really hard to make an evaluation on several of the items that are, mostly having to do with staff. So I was, because I don't know, you have no concept. And so one of my, I did not email this part, but I just said that was my feedback on the form, because that's what we were looking at. And then, so one of my concepts was, there's the idea of a 360 evaluation. So, doing yourself, do a self-evaluation, and then have staff give an input, and they can either everybody can use the same form, or you can use a modified form for those pieces, or just use the same form and remind everybody that the option of saying does not apply, or I have no
Well,
idea.
that's one of the last
Yeah,
questions.
the-
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know.
right, so, and I don't know, sometimes, it's like, or it means a lot of things. X means, every part of, I don't know, it's not my job, or it's not my, not my purview, so I thought that would be an idea that I would come up with.
But this evaluation is not the staff's.
Well, that's what I just said, the staff, because there's so many parts that I have to say, I do not know,
Yeah.
that,
So then do we look at those and determine what versus not be on here at all? Because if it's not within our purview, then we can't
Right.
really evaluate,
but
so.
in order for the board to make a judgment on whether, you have been successful, you need input. So how do you have that judgment if you don't have input?
Right.
So Jen might have been able to give us, more input on different aspects, just because as chair, you have more conversations with the director. And at this time, we don't have that input. So we could go through what I think is very difficult to, or we can just go through the form, section by section, and have anybody comment on any section, which I think is probably helpful. But that was my solution to not being able to do it, is that, the director can do the self-evaluation and comment to priorities, because I was looking at the priorities, and not all the priorities are,
Matching
sort of
together.
matching, yeah, so it's like, you want to be able to say, success in priority 1, and, maybe priority 2, we decided to, postpone, and then you can document that, So I think both should be used, the priority list and the form.
Right. But I thought, personally, I thought the form needed to conform with what the requirements were of the job description and the priorities, right? Because those are the items we're evaluating on.
On the priority list. and
Right, the
job
priority
description.
list, and then what's on the job description,
Right.
because that's what
Between
the,
the two,
And
I
I think,
love it.
and I think some of the form was, I mean, I have no ironclad memory, that's for sure. Based on the job description, I think that's how it was originally brought out, but at the time, I think there were more formal goals, more, as a director, had the first year, second year, third year, more formal goals were written. So this followed that. So I might have the job description. Does anybody need a job description?
If you have it.
I do have
That
it.
would be great.
I can go make a couple copies. Do we need a special code there, Kathy?
No, but usually, if you can't get into it, Anne will,
Where's the, oh, I took it back, sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, so I was just talking to the staff about doing a 360 evaluation, saying, and I was explaining to them how that works, that when you work in teams or whatever, that a lot of times, like, everybody who works with the person, they do an evaluation. It might be a little bit different for the different people that are doing the evaluation, but, you know, that's a lot of times, that's a really good way to go.
So could we pull some of the pieces of this out that would apply to just the staff? I mean, sort of take this and,
Or they can just answer, they don't know.
right, they could just do,
Or
Well, we
it
could-
doesn't
we-
apply.
we could create a 360 evaluation based on this that provides, request information from the staff that would allow the trustees to review and then provide what they see from, this is what the staff is saying, so I think this one is a good job, or
Right.
based on, because we're not in there,
Right.
we would
Right.
take their input as what we're looking for to see whether or not that part of it is being completed.
We do have a time crunch on this thing.
Right.
See what that suggests. I had never heard of that type of evaluation.
Oh, yeah, it's real big.
Very
It's
common.
very popular, you say, yeah. And it's really good. I
it
think
is
it's
good, we do that, we send out.
Been done for years, yeah.
Did it work all right for you?
That's what people know.
Oh, thank you. Can I write down the cost?
So what's the date that this is due by?
We're supposed to be doing this evaluation next week on the 27th.
Yeah, on the 28th or
27th.
7th.
27th,
Sorry.
during the meeting, right?
Right.
Because it has to be done before the 16th of September,
Mhm.
which is her 6-month,
Mhm.
and we don't meet before then except for next week. So unless we schedule another meeting,
For the week following.
Because if we gave staff.
I think I left one copy in there.
Spread out 2 weeks, probably
Yeah.
more ideal.
How long, what did you, I'm sorry, Anne Marie, I didn't hear you.
No, I'm saying probably you want to give staff 2 weeks. Week is probably a pretty quick turnaround for people.
But I don't think we have 2 weeks, do we?
as long as we meet again.
If we could,
We have- we have a month.
I mean, today's the
Today's
17th.
So we have
Well,
29
today's Monday,
days.
so if we could get it to them, even a week and a half, if we could get it to them by Wednesday
Mhm.
and said by next Friday, we need it. Would that work? What's next week?
We would get it by, if we get it by next Friday or Thursday.
Thursday would be
Next
even better,
Thursday,
because that's when
because
we
then
meet.
we'd have.
And then we can pass that around, and people can take that to fill out their evaluations, then we would have to meet again.
One more time.
One more time to do, and it would just be to do the evaluation.
Yeah.
So do we give them this and explain to them, maybe change the, yeah,
I thought we were saying we're going to use from the job descriptions,
and the goals we set for Amy.
Right.
Right.
So why can't we pull right here, for instance? Do we need it I'm sorry, yes. Do we need to have it set up like supportive board governance, organization and time management? I mean, that, it's very nice, and if someone wants to do that, but when you look at the job description, essential job functions, this is what we're evaluating her on, as well as her goals. It's written in a, objective way,
You
plans
say
and.
match each one to the form.
So plans, no, why can't we just make a form using these words and do whatever, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, X. Plans and supervises operation of the library. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Recommends library policies, programs, and procedures responsible for the delivery of public services to the community. Those are all things, bing, 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 does she, doesn't she?
Mhm.
X or not.
So we could take
Take this
essential
and
job
make,
functions and do,
Essential job.
make
Back
one of
here.
these.
and
This
just
is what we're
cut and
testing her
paste.
on. Some of these things, when you look at this evaluation, that's what I was saying last time. It's like, you know, these are her job functions, not like, when you get on page 2, it's the requirements and education experience. That's what she had to have to get
Right.
the job.
Yeah.
This is the job functions, and we can match in if there were any specifics, like the long-range plan, the goals that we set, which I don't know where they are in my computer, they're somewhere
And the goals
here.
that were set are, you're talking about the document that Beth, that you
The
and Jen.
priorities.
The
Right.
priority.
The
The
priorities.
The
priorities.
priorities.
Yeah, because at a 6-month time, there's not more than the original priorities.
Right.
Right.
So why can't they be, I don't have the list here,
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
know,
just
it's
seeing
somewhere
whether
on
I
this-
do.
It's there.
It's there, it's been, but put them in the same, type of language that, met the, whatever priority it is,
So
met the
basically, you're
goals.
saying, like, you just make up your own
then
evaluation sheet based on your
based on
job
this
description
and
and
your
the
goals.
priorities.
1 through 5 X, I mean, use the same format, and we don't have to break this up into
Professional or,
professional,
Support.
organizational, time management, whatever, personnel and staffing. And in this, there's something here, manages and coordinates schedule of library staff, directly supervises and annually evaluates staff. That wouldn't come, because directly supervises, yes, but annually, no, you haven't done that yet.
Right.
Right.
Recruits, selects, promotes, and terminates personnel as needed. I mean, these can all be little bullet
Bullets,
points.
yeah.
And that would not require staff to provide input.
The schedule maybe.
I mean, but the schedules,
I mean, we don't know what her schedule, I mean, they're covered.
yeah, but it's
Right.
it's a document that we can,
Establish
gain access
effective
to, right?
working.
Yeah, the schedule is a Google Calendars that
Right.
everybody should have. I mean, originally, I guess I gave it to Jen and Beth.
I don't think it's not a Google document, it's a Google
It's a
calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when I did look at it, but when I accept it, it's like I see every activity in the middle of my personal Google Calendar, so I have to say no.
You have to,
you just have to turn
Yeah,
off.
so I
Click
just
on
say
your
no,
personal
so I
calendar, right?
turn no,
Yeah.
yeah. So
You can also look at it as a agenda, so it shows
Right.
you each individual item, and
So I
you can
should
turn
look at it
off
that one,
yours.
yeah.
yes.
Some
then
of
you can
these
see
would
just
not be,
those.
prepares a yearly written report, well, we're not at that point, so attends town meeting, we won't need that. But I'm just thinking if this is, well, I know, but, if we're evaluating her fairly on what she was hired to do and have she met these goals. This, I would say, is very good. A lot of it matches, but this is more for the 1-year plan, I would say, for 1-year evaluation. That's why I was kind of surprised that we did this as a 3-month for anyone else.
About 30.
No, it was only a 1 year. I think this has
This
only
was the
been
1
only a
year.
1 year.
Yeah, that makes more
Yeah.
sense to me, like,
So it's only been in 1 year. I don't recall, well, I don't remember what we did with the previous director for the 6-month evaluation.
It was a longer, more complicated version of this.
So is that what, the
And
first
then
version that was sent,
was able to shorten it up to this. It was a longer, more complicated.
was that with 6 months, do you think?
I believe it was 6 months, yes. Yes, because then for the year, Kim had shortened.
Yeah,
So do we,
Presented it
so
to the
do,
board.
so we're basically saying we wanna rewrite this to meet what's in the essential job functions and the
Take this and make
priorities.
it in a chart.
Right.
And I think you might have to divide these different sentences, like this is one thing, this is another, because it's a run-on, like,
So who's gonna do
Put
this?
in the policies, yeah.
I can do that.
you know how to do this kind of, yeah, because it would take me a year and a day, it would
So
be
we
3
would,
years
we
from
would
now.
do this, like, let's say I put this together, or I send it out, everybody can review it, and then next meeting we say, yes, this is what we're gonna do.
But we shouldn't we have it done by the next meeting? I mean, we're getting awfully
Well,
close to
that-
crunch time.
That makes, if we, yeah, well, that's because I haven't been talking, mostly yelling today, but anyway. So if we, with this, we may not need to get staff input for the 6-month evaluation.
That's true.
So we can get it done by next week. Right, so if I put it together, send it out by Wednesday, then everybody has till next Thursday to fill it out.
I mean,
Bring it in.
a week from today, not this.
Next.
Next Thursday.
Next Thursday, yeah.
Sorry, yeah, forget where.
so then you,
Monday.
we approve it on the 27th, sorry, you're
That's
right.
okay.
I spoke out of turn.
No, go ahead.
So approve on the 27th and have done, or
I think,
approve it tonight, modify it overnight. I mean, over,
well, he's got to write it.
Right, put it together, put it into the same format so everybody gets an opportunity.
So can it be approved, like through email or by a quorum of the, like a smaller quorum of the board, or?
No, we can.
No, what we're saying is we're approving it to look exactly, taking those things, putting them
Yeah.
into this.
so I think we can approve it tonight if
Yeah.
everybody's on board
Right,
with.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, I trust Carlos not to like suddenly change things. We've got this.
Right.
It's like, okay, Carlos, hey, wait.
Right,
You're right.
exactly.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
And that way, then everybody has the opportunity to fill it out, and then at the next meeting,
Next week, filled out.
27th,
we can
August 27th, yeah.
you would then discuss,
discuss
everybody
it.
would come having it filled out.
Right, we
Right,
would
okay.
discuss it, approve the completed form that is gonna be presented,
Yeah, 'cause we've gotta compile it all.
compile it,
Mhm.
approve, and then present it.
So you would want it back by,
You have to bring it with you next
Next week.
Thursday.
Yeah, I'll set up a form so it's easy to
Okay.
just say, just throw me the numbers and we can
Yep.
quickly.
So the next meeting, you're gonna discuss it, the result, everybody's input, and then you're gonna compile it at that meeting?
Yeah.
And then when do you present it then?
After that meeting. Well,
We're gonna have to schedule.
We'll have to
a meeting.
schedule
We'd
another
schedule
meeting.
another meeting, okay, right.
So again, in looking at
That
the,
would be-
sorry,
I'm sorry, that
No.
would need to be before September,
16.
okay.
and we'd have
We have a couple
one,
of weeks.
two, we have like almost 3 weeks after that.
almost a month.
Okay,
Summer has gone by.
No, believe it or not, that's a little,
And I would have asked to move the meeting back to Wednesdays, but Thursday gives us one more day. And I think that's a good idea.
But I think after that, we'll, keeping it on Wednesday is
yeah, because I can't.
fine.
so, in looking at, going through again the essential job functions, though, there are some that I have no concept of maintain strong community relations and utilizing volunteers, community resources. And I think, a lot is because the director's reports are, abbreviated. So, it's like, how do I weigh in on some of those things?
right.
And I think some of that is
So
on
I
here.
addressed a lot of that
Okay.
stuff in here, and I finally got around to making a template for director's reports, and,
But that can't be discussed because it's not.
no, I know, but I'm just saying that in that document, I think a lot of what Beth was just asking about is addressed in that document I gave you tonight.
Okay, so here's a good question. So since Amy handed in that, so it's a 6-month review and next steps would be helpful in filling this out. So we do have to accept this as a director report tonight.
Oh, I can't vote on that.
We're not voting on accepting a director's report, we
Well, this
never
is-
do.
We
We're
don't
just,
vote on it,
this
it's
is, you receive this.
Right, so
Yeah.
this is just information, but that is, we don't have to vote to receive or not,
No,
it's just,
right, it's just
it's-
information you
Right,
it's
receive.
here.
just
Take it
information.
home and read it.
yeah.
It's, like we're asked, the director's report is given to us early.
Right.
Yeah, we
We got
lost
it.
that, yeah, sorry.
We
So
got
we-
it a week early.
So Amy, that's like your own evaluation of yourself?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
which is very
Okay.
helpful.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm happy to fill out the official form as well, but whatever you want me to do.
So I think it's helpful to have the official check mark with 6 points from you as well.
Yeah,
That
okay.
way there's a narrative and a form.
Do we need to vote on it? Or we've just discussed it as consensus that that's how we're gonna do it?
And the next item was,
Trustees.
Should I make a motion to make that, accept that, or no?
I think there was
Just
consensus.
consensus.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks. I can't hear, I'm not
I'm
hearing.
sorry. I-
Um,
It's hard hearing here, you have the background noise.
So the filling, yes, by Wednesday. As far as the filling the position, the 2 trustees,
Mhm.
have we gotten any ideas as far as
Anybody
names?
talk to anybody?
I did.
I've talked to a couple of people.
Lee Thomas is very interested. Lee Thomas. He does programs at the library. He's done Teddy Roosevelt. He's done, recently he just did something on Lincoln. Oh, maybe that was at the library, yeah. He's a neighbor of mine. He was a former teacher. He's retired. I called him and said, would this be something you're interested in? Do you know him?
I was gonna ask you, is he, Mrs. Thomas's?
He's Irene Thomas's husband.
Irene, I couldn't remember.
Yes.
So,
So if you know Irene, that's her husband.
Was he a
Yeah.
high school teacher?
He was a high school teacher at Masconomet.
Sister's high school teacher.
yeah, and he
There we
still,
go.
he still substitutes at the high school, or
Yes,
did let
yes,
go.
Yes,
yes,
Yeah.
it's very, yeah.
Excellent, would he be
Very
willing to write a letter?
even-tempered, yeah, so I spoke to him and he said, oh, I am honored to be asked. I said, well, wait a minute, it's not a done deal. I will bring you forward to the meeting and,
He just needs to write a letter to the Board
so
of
he
Selectmen
needs to
asking
write a
to be
letter?
appointed, and then it's a vote of the trustees and the selectmen.
okay,
Yeah.
that's how it's done. I wasn't quite
Yeah.
sure. I said I would bring
And
it
it
up
just needs
and I
to be
didn't know
like a
if
two-line letter that goes to
that
Cassandra.
he would be interested in being a trustee.
Yeah.
Okay. And Jay Collins, I don't know. He's in-
Anybody talk to Jay?
I thought Jen had said she was gonna talk to him, but has anybody followed up with him?
I spoke to him on Friday, because he was here for Scrabble, and he said, yeah, another trustee spoke to me too. I don't know.
That would be
That
me.
would be you, okay. And he said, well, I ran and I wasn't, elected, and I said, well, that's because it was only for the one slot. Now, we have slots, if you're still interested, and he said, well, I'll have to think about it, so. I don't know him that well, I just kinda
Yeah,
brazenly
that
asked.
is-
I don't know.
Completely went out of my head.
Yeah, she said she doesn't wanna have the time.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
I know we've asked, I've asked the person that comes here a lot.
Inez?
Oh, Inez,
Yes.
no.
Oh, yeah, and she wrote a really nice letter when we had Heidi's opening, but it was after we had asked Anne to join. Anne, have you reached out to Inez?
Oh, yes, and she's working on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Her situation has changed, so she's working evenings, and it's kind of unpredictable. and
Yeah.
she
Well,
sent
I had
me
a few
one.
people that I've spoken to, and they're gonna think about it and get back.
So maybe we should just, put it out there, since it's, isn't a live event, that the way you would ask to join the trustees is to write a letter to the Board of Selectmen, simple to fill in the 2 spots, or one now. Can we vote on,
We don't have to,
Delete.
there's no vote, I mean.
so it's
So
just,
what if 5 people decide to do it? Then what happens?
Well,
So,
then it's.
we have-
It would be like, whoa, we
It's
Yeah.
happened in the past where there's been a couple, and it's a vote of the selectmen and the trustees, and that's how.
So you
That's
just,
very optimistic, though.
Well, I'm just saying, let's put it out there, put
Yeah.
it out there.
You never know.
I got
Yeah.
the same thing from Jay, I said, oh, please, and he said, I don't know.
Yeah, I
And I,
think,
yeah, like I said, I've talked to a couple people, and they're gonna think about it and get back before the next meeting. I said, sooner rather than later, so.
well, I will contact Lee.
And I told them a couple of line letter to the selectmen is all.
So officially, to anyone who wants to volunteer, they would just write a letter to the selectmen asking to be considered. And might be a good idea to let us know.
Yeah.
And then we'll,
And they'd be filling out the terms of the two that have stepped away.
right, it would be for the remaining term for the two trustees
then-
who were on the board, which is Jen Close, who was going to be completed in 2016.
no, we just got
Just-
elected.
So it would be a 3-year term.
So it's 3-year term from 2015, 16, 17, 18, so that would be 18.
And then
And,
they'd have to run for
and
that.
Lori LeBlanc's opening, I think, was 2016. Is Laurel, she's with you, are you
I
two?
think so.
It's
I'm
on
just-
the.
It's on the town website.
It's on the town
It's also on
The
the
website.
library website.
library.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know whether our terms are on
Yeah,
the
it is.
library, yeah?
So, but say if
looking
you
it up.
did have 5 people that wanted to do it,
Awesome.
then what would the criteria be, though, for you to decide? Like, do you want people to have a certain kind of experience, like,
It would be a
You know-
vote of the selectmen and the trustees.
yeah, but based on what, I guess, was what I'm wondering.
I think we'd have to cross that bridge when we come to it.
I think it'll be
Alright, here we
based
go.
on the letter and
Interest?
the interest.
Lori
And-
LeBlanc expires May 2017, and Jen was May 2018.
So that, they'd fill that,
Mhm.
and then they'd have to run at that time.
Right.
Yeah.
So one's a 2-year, one's a 3-year.
One of the things that in the past we've looked at is to balance the board. So like somebody with, if we're missing any financial support or, people that represent, or have their hand or finger on the pulse of the variety of the community. So people, if we didn't have anybody with children, we would look for somebody with some children. If we didn't have anybody that knew what other people wanted, so
Yeah, see, that makes sense.
have a broad scope on the trustees.
So just make sure to include that in your letter,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Anything you can tell us about you is helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're saying yes to Mr. Thomas?
Well, we don't have to
He has
say
to
yes.
write a letter to the Board of
But,
Selectmen,
yeah,
and then they put it on the agenda.
Okay,
On
And
a
we're
future
informed so
agenda.
that we can show up at that
I mean,
meeting
I
as
think
well.
right.
If I was running, or I've been a trustee for a center before, and so what you do is I remember sort of thinking, like, what is it that I bring to the board? Like, why do I wanna be on the board? What skills do I have that I can share that would
Right.
strengthen the board? So that would be, I guess, what I would ask people to articulate.
But all that's really required is asking to be appointed to any opening on any board. There's a lot of boards that have a lot of openings.
Okay, and that was it for the open meeting?
I make a motion to adjourn open meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Yep, thank you.
And now we'll be able to hear better.
I'm sorry.
We'll be able to hear better, because
Yeah.